Close enough, let's paint something.
Welcome back to the Tacomaholic channel, everybody. Day 3 of 10 consecutive days of video uploads is in full effect, and today, since it's 48 degrees, it might warm up a little bit. That's close enough to paint something else. And I hinted at this in the last painting video, where I showed you guys how to remove and paint the steering wheel panels right here. I'm going to go ahead and take off my factory shift knob and paint it and get rid of some chrome down here. And of course, I'll show you how to do it. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how to paint or change the color of two different parts today. Obviously, you can decide for yourselves if you want to do just one or both. First up is of course the automatic shift knob, which if you did not know, just simply turn it counterclockwise, gets pretty loose, and then just spins off right like that. So that part is done. So I'll be able to change the silver color right here and the hideous chrome down here, which if you guys are like me, I hate chrome on newer vehicles. I love it on like older muscle cars from the 60s and 70s, but come on, Toyota. So there's one part done, but now I'm going to remove the actual shift shaft, stock, whatever you want to call this thing, because that, I don't think it's chrome, but it's definitely like raw metal. So we're going to get rid of that also. In case you guys didn't know, this whole panel right here with the cup holder, storage right here, all around the automatic shifter is one piece, and it does simply pop out. Just start on one corner, then the back. If you don't have anything plugged in right here like I do for my bass controller for my subwoofer, you can lift the whole thing out once you get all four corners. Obviously I have to be aware of the wire. So if you have switches installed right here, which I know is very popular, just be mindful of that. Once you get that top panel out, it exposes all of this, which if you've never removed this before, you're probably going to be shocked at how filthy it is under here. So go ahead and get like some cleaning wipes or whatever while you're in here and give that a wipe down. Next, we are going to take off this black piece right here that is still surrounding the actual shift shaft. Try saying that 5 times fast. There are 4 black clips right here, 2 on this side, 2 on the back. Just start with one side and gently pop those up, then get the other side and that will come out. With that second trim piece out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and remove this too. I guess this just helps like slide around. It's sort of like an inverted seesaw. I've heard people like when they have removed this stuff, they accidentally put this in backwards and it gets stuck and bound once they reinstall it incorrectly. So just be mindful of which way this is supposed to be pointing. Personally, I've never had an issue with it, but hey, you never know. Now at this point, I was flirting with the idea of trying to figure out a way to actually take off this shaft, but since I have enough room down here, I think I'm just going to leave it as is because I'm not actually painting this piece. What I'm going to do is take some black heat shrink wrap that you usually use on wires and such, wrap that around there, and since I have enough clearance down here with the flame from my little torch, I think it'll be safe. I'm not going to hold it on too long, especially towards the bottom, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, show you how to do it in just a second. I have this kit right here I got on Amazon. I will link to it below if you want to grab something similar. This is just a variety pack of different diameter of the heat shrink tubing for electrical stuff. What I'm going to do, I just selected this one. It is a good fit for this. And if you just slide the shifter knob on again real quick, you can see it does come down pretty far. Looks like about 1.5 inches past the bottom of the thread. So really only this part right here is still exposed. So this length right here, it's actually almost perfect going all the way up. I don't know if it's an illusion or not. It actually looks like the bottom of this is a little thicker. So I'll see if this size actually fits. Once I get that on there snugly, I will go ahead and take a regular candle lighter. I have a little butane torch, but since I'm on the inside and there's plastic down here, I feel like this will be just a little more control so I can sort of go around and get it just a little tight on the bottom. Then go ahead and snug it up around the other length of the shaft. Insert dirty joke here. Yeah, that's definitely binding up on the bottom here of the shaft, so it feels like it's a little thicker, so I'll just get the next biggest size. Which I actually hope is not too big. That looks like, I want to say about 3/4 of an inch. We'll see if it actually shrinks down enough, but it does go down all the way to the bottom. I might actually put the truck into neutral just to get this away from the plastic over here and give myself a little more room. With the truck in neutral, this is going to be a lot easier. I have more room on either side down here in between this white plastic right here. And there is the finished product, guys. Took about 5 minutes in real time. Just be very careful down here at the very bottom, obviously, so you don't melt any of this other plastic. I left mine just a little loose because that's going to get covered anyway. Now, one thing I did forget to do for my application, I'll go ahead and warn you about. I should have screwed this on and measured where the bottom of it ended because the top of this sealant is sort of blocking it. So now I need to get a razor blade and cut that off. I'm not going to redo this whole thing, so I'll just trim that down. So this will tuck it away, and that part is done. Stop looking at my black shaft. Bet you guys never thought I'd say that on a video. So here's what it looks like after I got that trimmed off. I will unscrew it and give you a quick measurement so you can do the same. And from the bottom of where I cut to the top of the threads, looks like about 2.5 inches. So if you just want to put on the entire piece, because it's not like it was difficult to actually trim this off and you need to cut down, just do it in small bits because I did have to take off a lot more than I thought, so you don't want any chrome down here exposed. Okay guys, getting ready, getting closer to actually painting this bad boy back here at my paint station, aka the backyard. And I hope it doesn't pour down rain on me while I'm doing this. So the next step, I am going to tape off everything that I want to remain black. In this case, just the fake leather, faux leather, real leather, I don't know what this is. So I want to get that part taped off. What I'm going to do is overlap everything with the blue tape. Get it tucked in nice and tight down here on the seams on the chrome and the top part with one of my trim removal tools. I'll put a link for this kit down in the description below. It's like $5 or $6, great to have anyway. And then trim off the excess with my knife. Might take just a little bit of time to do this. I'll do a time lapse showing you guys the process. Not difficult, just a little time consuming. Okay, at this point I have all of those seams on the bottom and top covered with the blue tape. Make sure it's securely fastened. I'm going to start just using like my thumbnail, even though I don't like really have long nails, just to sort of tuck that in because it's a little easier to feel. And then I'll use the trim tool to do that. So I'll go ahead and get this all tucked in so I can see the line and then trim it off with a knife. Now for the trimming part, I haven't done the top yet, but for the bottom, I'm just sort of barely dragging it over. My fingernail actually broke some of the blue tape, so I don't want to scratch anything underneath on accident. Obviously be careful not to let this get away with you and get the blade right into your finger, but this should come off relatively easily. Notice it's sort of easier just to hold the knife in place and to actually rotate the shift knob, so you can try that out. And don't worry about cutting it straight through on the first try. It's sometimes easier just to make a few like shallow passes and get it little by little. Alright, I think that's done. Test it, grab my fingernail and pull this off slowly just to make sure any pieces that weren't cut don't pull off with it.
A little piece right there being stubborn. And if I can get this piece.
Alright, there's the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and take the trim tool again and sort of make sure that's really tucked in there on the seam on the painter's tape side, since that's actually going to be blocking the paint. And it looks like the bottom part is done. I'll go ahead and fast forward since we're doing the exact same thing on the top. And for this top part, I actually found, maybe because the groove right here was a little like wider and deeper, if I was pressing firmly with the, you can see the edge on my plastic trim removal tool is pretty sharp. If I just press slowly and surely, that actually did all the cutting. Then I just used the knife to get any parts that were sort of being stubborn, but that one actually, even though it was bigger, it actually felt a little easier to do than the bottom part right here. So now I'm going to put on some work gloves, wipe down this surface and this surface with alcohol to get it clean, let it air dry, and put on a few coats of the flat black paint I used on the steering wheel. Just put the first coat on. I just wanted to show you guys how I have this situated because the little painter's pyramids I like to use usually aren't going to work with this because it's so rounded. I'm able to get the top part fine, having it propped like this. And the way it's propped, I believe the spray is going to reach all the way under there. This is the first lightest coat, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it, but this should be fine. Probably do 2 more coats and call it a day on this. Alright guys, here is the finished product. It did start to rain on me, as you can see right there on my windshield. There's 3 coats of the flat black Rust-Oleum 2 times. Same paint I used on the panels right here in the steering wheel. Love the way it looks. Can't wait to get this all reassembled and back on the stock right here. I guess I could have been calling it a stock this whole time instead of being a perv and calling it a shaft. But let me get this put back together, show you the final product. Go ahead and put this panel back in. Again, hopefully you put it off to the side so in the correct orientation, but relatively straightforward. Over the shaft. Ooh, that is a little wider down there, so keep that in mind. I wonder if this is going to actually clear now with the extra thickness of the little insulation sleeve I put on there. Tuck that down. Looks like I got it on no issues, but just something to be aware of. Alright, got that into place. Black plastic piece just clips back down. Make sure it is clipped on all 4 corners. And then just reattaching the big plastic piece. I'm going to go ahead and make sure my base controller is plugged in first. And of course, last but not least, go ahead and spin this back down. And there it is. You can also see on the bottom, once I got all the plastic trim panels back on, definitely covered up the bottom of the shift stock, so that part where it was a little loose just because I didn't want to get the flame of the torch anywhere near the plastic that was down there. Not even an issue. That's what it looks like. Definitely a huge improvement in my opinion. Go ahead and comment below if you plan on doing something similar and what colors you're going to go with. And of course, that will do it for this video, everyone. Thank you so much for supporting the channel by watching this video. This is the 3rd of 10 consecutive uploads, so that means you have 7 more consecutive videos to look forward to in the next 7 days. Please check those out, and I've been flirting with the idea, if these videos get enough traction, I might even just continue daily uploads for a while. Let me know what you guys think about that as well. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.